It's wedding season. Hey YouTube, it's your girl Reika Yanique, and I am back with another video. So spring is pretty much upon us, so that can only mean one thing. It's wedding season. Or better yet, wedding season is coming. It's coming, guys. I got married going on 4 years now, and to this day I still get a lot of questions about my wedding from the vendors that I use, how much everything costs, tips, tricks, advice. I still get a lot of people sliding in the DMs asking me, you know, for tips and advice. So that's what pretty much inspired me to film this video today. I decided to do a sit down where I just spill all the tea, all of it, and basically let you guys know how I plan my dream wedding on a budget. So if you are somebody you know is getting married or planning a wedding, you might want to stick around for this one. I'm going to be breaking everything down from costs, vendors, things that I splurged on versus what I decided to just go cheap and done. So don't forget to give this video a like, it really helps me a lot. Hit the thumbs up button if you're new. Follow me on all my socials, I'll have them floating around throughout this video. And with that being said, we can jump right into my video. So for me, I had a 2-year engagement before my actual wedding. So I got engaged in September of 2014, and then my wedding was in December of 2016. So it was a little over 2 years. I wanted to give myself enough time to save as much money as I could to execute the vision for the wedding I had for myself at one point or another in your life. I know everybody, you know, kind of envisions what they want the wedding to be like, and I was no different. So I wanted to give myself enough time to save. Me and my husband, we're not like from a well-to-do family or have parents that's going to foot this bill. We knew we were going to have to pay for everything ourselves. I was just fresh out of grad school and living that broke.com life, so we knew we needed time to save. So in terms of the goal, that goal money, we budgeted around 20 to 25,000. We did go over that only by the slightest of amounts, but it's all good, we survived. So in terms of how that budgeted money got, you know, broken out and how we were able to allocate that, let's dive in. So one of the things that we did that helped to keep our costs down was to have a destination wedding. So for us, it wasn't really like a destination wedding in the whole sense of the word, because I had my wedding in Jamaica, for those who don't know, and my husband and myself were both from Jamaica, and we still have a big chunk of friends and family there. It still worked out cheaper for us, mainly for the exchange rate. We were able to do a lot more with our money than if we were to have it here in New York. $1 I think it goes for something like, I don't want to tell you guys foolishness, but I would say anywhere between like $100 to $150. So carrying that money back to Jamaica, we're able to do a lot more with it than if we were to, you know, stay in New York and try to keep the wedding here. Services from vendors just, you know, worked out cheaper in every instance. Everything was just cheaper. For example, our wedding venue, to actually rent the venue for a ceremony, cocktail or reception, that cost us $1,500 US. I can't think of anywhere in New York where I would be able to get a venue to do all of that for $1,500. Granted, for the aesthetic that we were trying to execute, I can't think of anywhere in New York where I would be able to get a venue quite like the one that we had. I do have a blog post about my wedding where I go a little bit more in detail about my venue. Definitely swing over to the blog and check that out. So yeah, if you're planning a wedding, definitely don't underestimate the savings that can be had by going out of town, out of country. So yeah. So this was one of the areas that we decided to go really cheap on. I mean, serious question here, are wedding invitations still a thing in 2020? Because to me they feel like the biggest waste of money to the environment. Save the trees. In 2020 I think we can save the trees, send an email, send a WhatsApp message. I still have invitations from my wedding that never went out. We were just inviting people, you know, on the phone, over the email, via WhatsApp, you know. We ended up not sending out most of our invitations. So that's why I said to you guys, if you can go digital, there are lots of websites and apps that allow you to send out invites, a Facebook group, a WhatsApp group, Instagram group. There are so many ways. So I feel like if you're looking to cut costs, this is one of those areas that I would recommend. If you still want to have some form of stationery that you can share or you can have later on to look at, then I can tell you for us with this, we went with Vistaprint. Cheap guys, like so cheap. Usually invitations can run you into the hundreds of dollars, sometimes pushing into the thousands, and for us to print, I believe it was 100 to 150 invitations and save the dates. It set us back between $70 to $100. They have a lot of templates that you can use. It just felt like fate because it just matched perfectly. It just matched perfectly with the theme that we were going for, which was like a black and white Kate Spade kind of theme. For an additional cost, you're able to pick a slightly better quality paper, texture, finish that you want. Kind of did that because, you know, wedding and all, you don't want to be too cheap looking. So kind of splurge right there. Got a nicer paper that gave like a linen textured finish, which was really nice, like really nice, and it came out really well. If I'll have pictures so you guys can see. It complemented the theme very well, so I definitely recommend Vistaprint if you must do invitations and you want to do them inexpensively. Definitely check them out. So another area where we saved serious coin was with our wedding party. Initially we went to our floral and decor vendor. We told them that our bridal party we were looking to have it around 20 persons strong. That's like 10 bridesmaids, 10 groomsmen, bridegroom, all that jazz. So that first quote that they did for us was taking into account that number. But when we got the quote back, people, flowers are not cheap. It was 10 grand for one bouquet. Keep in mind, I had 10 bridesmaids. 10 bridesmaids at 10 grand a bouquet. That was instantly right there, $100,000 Jamaican dollars, 100,000 Jamaican dollars. And then for the groomsmen, they have their floral piece as well. My bouquet was upwards of almost 20 grand, and by the time we priced up all of this, we were looking at 150,000 for florals for the bridal party alone. And I was like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna work. We have to go back to the drawing board and just cut our numbers down significantly. We ended up having a much smaller bridal party, which to me turned out so beautiful. It's all about minimalism now, so yeah, don't feel no way if you can't have your whole girl squad up there. Less is more, trust me, less is more. So I'm still piggybacking off of florals. As I mentioned, florals is expensive. It had to be one of the most, if not the most expensive aspect of our wedding. Luckily we didn't have to, you know, do a lot or spend a lot with florals. It's because our venue was already naturally very beautiful. That's a tip, guys. Get you a venue that you don't need to do a lot to it or add a lot to it to make it beautiful, or anywhere that has a nice view of something, a nice landscape. As I mentioned, my venue was already pretty stunning, so we didn't really need to add much. Just some pops of, you know, just a little pop of pink here and there was kind of sprinkled around the venue. And another thing that they did, which I recommend if you're working with a floral vendor, they repurposed a lot of the flowers. So for example, after our wedding ceremony was over, they moved all the florals that were there and they brought it into the reception space. That's a really cool way to save money. Instead of having designated florals for your ceremony space, designated florals for your cocktail hour space and reception space. Just move them from space to space. So when ceremony is done, move it into the cocktail hour space, and so on and so forth. So that's a really cool way to save money. Let's talk about the fashions. The fashions. Some of those brides, I didn't get to do a bridal shower or a rehearsal dinner or any of those things, so I was able to kind of focus or funnel all of my monies into my wedding look. My budget for my wedding dress was $5,000, and I ended up paying around $3,000 for my wedding dress, which might not seem like a lot to some people, because I know wedding dresses can go upwards of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So $3,000 might not seem like nothing to some people, but to me that was a lot. My dress is by the brand called Enzoni. The style of my particular dress is called Cassandra, and it was from their new collection at the time when I bought it back in 2016, and I love my dress. I absolutely love my dress. I couldn't have picked a better dress for me. I really love my dress. Very clean, elegant, simple up top, and then when you get to the bottom, it's like this drama of a train. For my shoes, not gonna lie, I really wanted to splurge and get those Sophia Webster butterfly sandals. I wanted those shoes like so bad, like so bad. Time, I think they were like $600-700. I just couldn't bring myself to spend so much money on a pair of shoes that no one, like literally no one, is going to see the shoe, because my dress is going to be covering it and my wedding is outdoors. I went a lot cheaper and I got me my teddies. I got me some. We had a multi-tiered wedding cake, but guess what, guys? Only one of those tiers were real. The rest was pretty much styrofoam that they decorated. Traditional Jamaican wedding cake flavor is usually a fruit cake, and those are just like really expensive. I don't really like fruit cake like that anyway, so I decided to scrap it and do a coconut cake, and that saved us a couple $100s. Now I know the OG yarded them, like my grandmother, she was not too pleased that she didn't get her fruit cake. You know, it's all good. Coconut cake is not that bad. So yeah, definitely something to think about. Are there any like traditional cake flavors in your family or in your cultures? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that was definitely very funny. That was definitely. There were a lot of little touches here and there throughout my wedding that I decided to just do myself. I definitely recommend it to you guys if you know, if you have the time, if you're crafty, if you want to save money, if there are any little things that you can do yourself, you should definitely do. So I did the placement cards myself, and the signage, I did that myself. I purchased the fonts on Etsy, and then I, you know, typed everything up, printed it out. Me and my mom, we went to, where did we go? We went to Marshall's, and we found some really nice picture frames that we put all the signage in. With the placement cards, I downloaded a template off the internet. Didn't pay for the template. I just found like a random website where you could just download placement card styles. So I downloaded a grid. I cut everything myself. On Amazon, I found like this collection of vintage looking keys. They were all different styles, shapes, sizes, and I thought that would go really well with like theme. So I think I paid maybe $20 for 100 keys. My husband just sat, cut cords, and you know, tied them up together, and they just made the cutest table placements, and it really just, that was just my personal touch to the wedding. I think I've touched everything. I hope these tips were helpful. I hope somebody out there found these tips helpful. And remember guys, above everything else, the most important thing is being around friends and family. Is everything else comes after. Leave me a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this video, and check out my other videos while you're at it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.